Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you've had a lovely week or weekend, depending on when you're watching this. Right off the bat, April is right there, eating her lunch and watching Bluey, so I'm sorry that you're going to hear Bluey the whole way through this video, and also that if you're watching with kids around, they might think you're watching Bluey and you're not. But it's the only way that I can film, because I cannot leave this wild child alone for 2 seconds. Like, you have to be with me at all times. So we're just going to have to do it. This is the mum channel. This is how we get stuff done. Like I said last week, that's my motto. With Archie, I was a not go with the flow mum. Now with April, I am a go with the flow mum. She's just completely taken it out of me, and I'm now a go with the flow mum. Anyway, so my first postpartum experience, I was 17, I was living at home with my parents, my sister and my partner, and it was a lovely postpartum because even though I had a baby, I was my mum's baby still. I'm the youngest, I was still her baby, so she looked after me and the baby a lot. She would help me out, she would let me get rest, she would help me get sleep. I had the best time physically postpartum the first time, and great mentally. I'm so thankful, like thank my lucky stars, I've never had baby blues or postpartum depression or postpartum anxiety, like never had any of that. I love being postpartum both times, but the first time was great. Like I had such a great support system, and the second time it was just me and my partner and my almost 5-year-old. Literally I gave birth the day before my 5-year-old birthday, which was nuts. So, and about 3 days before he started school. So it was very different. I had no support system. Like I'd moved 3 hours away from my family, so I had no support system. I didn't have the chance to get rest. Yes, my partner had the 2 weeks off, but doing school runs and looking after the house and looking after the baby, and this time I was exclusively breastfeeding, so only I could feed her, and they were two very, very different experiences. And I want to add that if you've had a miscarriage or a stillborn, you are still going through postpartum. Like, I'm not arguing with anyone about that. You are still going through postpartum, and I feel like you should be treated exactly the same. And of course, if anything, you should actually have more support than someone who had a baby. Postpartum depression affects 10 to 15% of women. 41% of women feel more negatively about their body image postpartum, which I think is so horrible to see, because instead of being told to focus on looking after our baby, looking after ourselves, the enormity of what we've been through, the miracle of what we've been through, the blessing of what we've been through, you are solely now responsible for keeping that person alive. And instead of focusing on the beauty of what you've just done, the incredibleness your body has gone through, the trauma maybe your body has gone through, the trauma of your mind or the blessing in your mind, whatever it is, instead of focusing on that, we have to think about the fact that society expects us to go back to work, to act like normal, to look the way we used to look, to still keep the same social life that we're supposed to do. And I think it's crazy that your body has just been through something so traumatic and people would expect you to look the same. You get so much more love, care, attention, I feel like, after an operation than the way it is you've just had a baby, and that blows my mind. Like, there's absolutely no reason for you to feel negatively about your body in any way. It's gonna look different, okay? There's gonna be stretch marks, you stretch. It's gonna be saggier skin because you've got to allow your body to go back to normal. You might have saggy skin 3 or 4 years later. It's absolutely fine. Your thighs are gonna be bigger, your hips are gonna be bigger, your boobs are gonna be saggier. They've had food in them and now the food is gone. They're gonna be saggier. Like, it's something that is so normal has been blown out of proportion, I feel like, in society, and we are now, like, supposed to look quote unquote normal when our body has just done something so mind-blowing. This video is going to be a lot of rambling, but I really hope that I make sense, and I really hope that you can take something away from my rambles. Another crazy statistic is 35% of women develop prolapse after birth, often because they have returned to exercise too early. I've seen an influx on social media now of people like fitness influencers doing 7 days after postpartum workout, or people being pressured by their partner to go back to the gym or do physical things. they don't realise that your body needs to rest. I'm going to sound like a hypocrite when I tell you about my second postpartum experience, but your body needs to rest, okay? Normally when you get an operation, you go to hospital, you're going to be told you need 6 weeks rest, you need all this pain medication, you need to do maybe physical therapy. We should have the same advice given to us after birth. Please don't ever feel like pressured to go back to working out. I also think it's incredible that women want to work out. Like after you've just given birth, for like, I just want to stay in my sweats, stay in bed, eat cookies, drink loads of water and just hang out with my baby. The fact that you've got time or the energy or the mental strength to work out before the 6-week check. Hi. Before the 6-week check after giving birth is just insane. But please never do that. The fact that 35% of women prolapse just shows that we're meant to give birth and then stay in bed and just chill and just do gentle exercise and just walk around the house, and honestly it shouldn't even come into the equation. If you are someone who's very physical, very active, you like to get out, you like to do things, maybe you're not a gym person but you like to be physical, then wait a couple of weeks and then just go for like gentle walks around the block. Honestly, you do not need to be doing your home workout, your Pilates, your gym, running around. Just go for gentle walks around the block. I believe that the pressure on women to bounce back comes from, I have this thing where I think it's a never-ending circle, right? So for example, take a celebrity, they've just given birth. They are going to get hounded on by the public to look better, okay? Then they're gonna look better and then they're gonna have higher standards. And then we complain that they have increased the beauty standards, but we're the people that made them increase the beauty standards because we have bullied them, okay? There's so many celebrities you can take an example of. Meghan Trainor, absolutely hounded on for being a bigger woman and also loved being a bigger woman. Then she lost weight and then she was hounded on for losing weight. No matter what you do, you are never going to win. It's a never-ending toxic circle, and celebrity bouncing back or editing their pictures, I'm not blaming solely celebrities, it's society, but editing pictures or using waist trainers after birth or just hit the gym and try to look really good after birth is what perpetuated this need for us to look really good after birth. I love this thing people are talking about right now on social media that says, when my kids grow up, they're going to remember the beach, they're going to remember the splash park, they're going to remember the park, they're going to remember, they're going to have photos to look back on. They're not going to care that maybe you were a size 16 or that you had stretch marks. You know, they're going to be upset that you went in the photo. They're not going to care about all the things that you care about. All they're going to care about is the fact that my mummy was there through all of these fun memories for me. So my first time postpartum, I didn't bounce back. I went from a size 18 to a size 16, and I definitely struggled because I was this young girl and I'd been like a size 8 all my life and I could wear the crop tops and the hot pants, and suddenly I was this mum and I completely lost my identity. The second time I was in such a different place. I did bounce back. I did bounce back. I was a size 12 to 14 before and I was a 12 to 14 now. I'm an 8/10 now, but that's just because I've been through a lot of stress in the last 6 months and it's just taken a toll on my body. Whole other subject, not going into that. Anyway, I was a 12/14 before and after having April. Now I did bounce back a lot quicker and a lot easier just because I feel like this time mentally I had the tools. I was more active because I did have a 4-year-old already, so I was taking him to school and running around after him and doing that stuff. And also now being an adult, I eat a lot better. I feel like when you become a teenager and you've kind of got more reins, you do kind of eat more junk and spend your money on more junk. But this time obviously now I'm an adult and I'm older and I knew to eat balanced meals and nutrition and I eat a lot of salads. And also I was breastfeeding, so I wanted to eat better to give my child the best breast milk I possibly could. But also I was in that mindset of, I've been doing body positivity for like 4 years now, so I had the tools and I had the perspective and I had everything in place to know that I didn't care. Like I didn't care how I looked or how quickly I bounced back or how saggy my boobs were or how many stretch marks I'd gained. I didn't bother with bio oil to try and prevent stretch marks. And I'm really proud that I just did all that growth in between those 4 years to know that none of it matters. All that matters is you've got a healthy baby, you're healthy, you're mentally well, you're physically well, you're both happy, and what you look like really doesn't matter. Honestly, it didn't even enter my brain. I didn't even start working out. I've just started working out, and she's going to be 2 next month, and I only just started working out again, more because these kids are exhausting and I need to like I need to get fitter to keep up with these kids. I don't really know what I'm trying to say, but I guess the second time I just knew that all that mattered was that we were both healthy, we were both happy, I was mentally strong, and I was just enjoying that time with my baby because it goes so fast. Like that first 6 weeks when you're just in your baby bubble, and they're just a baby and they're just literally sleeping and pooing and feeding, that beautiful newborn stage goes so fast, and I didn't want to waste it worrying about what I looked like. And I'm so blessed and grateful again that I had the tools to not worry about it. Know that my worth hasn't changed. Actually, I think your worth increases. The way to cope with it is to shift your mindset and your perspective. It's so easy to focus on the negative and then spiral and roll. Oh, I'm too big, like, oh, my clothes don't fit me, like I've got stretch marks, my boobs are so saggy. It's so normal to feel these things and to lose your spark. It's so normal. So many women give birth and go, who am I? I don't know who I am, I'm just a mum now. And that can be really hard, but I promise you, you do get your identity back. Once they start going to school and you've got time for you, you can get your identity back and do your interests and your hobbies and etc, etc. Think about the bigger picture in life, what really matters. In the grand scheme of everything going on in the world, does your stretch marks and your cellulite and your saggy skin really hold that much weight? Does it really matter? I love at the moment a big thing on social media is going, when people go to your funeral, they are not going to talk about the fact that you were really skinny. They're not going to talk about the fact that you looked great in that blue dress or that you spent all your time working really hard to look great. They're going to talk about the memories, the laughs, the holidays, the adventures, the embarrassing things you did, you know, the little maybe like funny mistakes you made, or how you made them feel, how you treated them. And in the grand scheme of life, we are just people floating on a rock. I say this all the time because it's so important to remember that everyone is too busy worrying about their own flaws, mistakes and insecurities that they are not focusing on yours. And I guarantee you, if you have an insecurity and you ask someone to guess what your insecurity is, they are going to get it incorrect, or they're going to go, I don't know what is your insecurity, because it's not going to be as obvious to them as it is to you. Also, some great way to shift your perspective is, instead of saying I've got stretch marks, say they're growth marks. Or instead of saying I've got a really like soft saggy tummy now, say that was my home, my baby's home. That's where I grew life. Like, how much more beautiful is it to think of your baby's first home than to think of it as like a saggy stomach? Like, it's so much more beautiful. A few things you can do straight after giving birth that are going to make you feel better. First of all, set boundaries for the people around you, to make sure people know that you don't want to talk about when you're going to have another one, or when you're going to get back into the gym, or how healthy you're eating, or when you're going to leave the house, or anything that's going to like be negative, anything to do with your weight or your appearance. Another one you can do is affirmations. I bang on about affirmations, but they can make you feel so much better. You can just chat GPT or just Google some affirmations. Next one is clothes. So make sure before you give birth that you've got clothes afterwards that are going to make you feel good, that reflect your personality, that reflect your interests, that are going to be really comfy. Just clothes that are going to make you feel like you, as a great pick-me-up. So if you're really into Stranger Things or Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings or Grey's Anatomy, make sure you've got like some t-shirts or something like that have got those on it, just so you can feel you and remember what you like and who you are in the midst of the craziness of having a newborn. Now this might sound crazy, but it's actually been scientifically proven to work. Is talk to yourself like a toddler. So that means two things. That means reward yourself for doing the smallest thing, okay? Reward yourself for sticking up for yourself. Reward yourself for putting yourself first. Reward yourself for having some self-care. You know, reward yourself for asking for a break if you need one. Just making sure, like, when kids do anything, like when April like takes, you know, like a lid off a pen, you're like, oh my god, you did an amazing job, good girl, like you did it. And we would never reward ourselves for like making a cup of tea, but maybe reward yourself for making a cup of tea if you haven't been able to have one or haven't been able to make one. Like, reward yourself for that. And it also means talking to yourself like someone you love. So if you're in a spiral and you're standing in front of the mirror like, I hate this, just go stop. You can say it out loud or in your head, but just stop. Okay, just stop for 5 seconds, because what you're doing right now, this negative spiral you're in, is not going to A, help you, or B, get you to your desired outcome. So we're going to stop the spiral and we're going to go, what is going to get me to where I want to be? What is going to get me happier, healthier? What is going to help me love myself more? What is going to help me feel better right now? Whatever your desired outcome is, you need to be thinking of the solution instead of letting yourself spiral, because that is not going to get you anywhere. As someone who is a frequent, maybe professional spiraler, this is what I've been practicing this year, and it's really helped. Just to literally, and I do it sometimes out loud in front of Rab, and I don't care. I just go, stop. You can't keep living your life beating yourself up for honestly trivial things. Or that great quote that says, if it's not going to be important in 5 years, don't spend more than 5 minutes worrying about it. I don't think I said it exactly word for word, but you understand what I mean. This is going to be from me to you, okay? All right, I wrote this down. I am more than a number on a scale, and beauty doesn't have a deadline. We are forever evolving, forever changing, and we can't expect to keep looking the way we did 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago. We're always going to change, and beauty does not have a deadline. I will make sure to leave some support places in the comments below, so I'll make sure to leave some links to charities and some websites and some phone numbers you can call if you are really struggling with body dysmorphia, if you're struggling with postpartum, if you're depressed, if you feel like you're really struggling and having a hard time. I'll make sure to leave some places to find support in the link in the comments below. I just want you to know that you are not alone. So many people, hundreds, thousands, millions of people struggle with postpartum, with the loss of identity, the loss of, you know, grieving their old life, the loss of their old body, the loss of their old job, the loss of their old freedom. It's so normal to feel these things, and I promise you, they are temporary and you won't feel them forever. Body is not broken. Your body does not have less value. You are not worthless. You are not less sexy or less appealing. You are not less of a woman. If anything, you're more of a woman. Having a baby does not negatively impact your body. I mean, I'm not saying, you know, there are often medical conditions and things that happen. I'm not talking about that, but like the aesthetic and the worth does not negatively change because you had a baby. Also, quickly, just to add on, that if you have had miscarriages or stillbirths, because I know, like I've just said, that you still count as postpartum, because you do, remember that. You are not a failure. You are not broken. You didn't do anything wrong, and unfortunately it's just a thing that happens to women, and it's so unfair and it's so horrible, and I thank my lucky stars that I've never had to go anything like that, because I don't know how I would cope. But I just want you to let you know that there's nothing wrong with you. You're not broken, and you are if you are someone who can't have kids, you are still a woman. Right, I have just pulled myself together. Anyway, my final message to you guys is encourage self-love and self-care every single day. You deserve to feel good in yourself. I keep doing this, that's really annoying, isn't it? But I feel like I'm so passionate, this is the way I get it out. Anyway, you deserve to be loved and feel good today, not just someday, not just when you reach your goal. Like, you need to have it every single day, and I hope that you feel it. I hope that you took something away from this, and I just know that I'm so grateful for my body, that it allowed me to play with my kids, that it gave me kids, and that allow me to do the things I love, and I really hope that you feel the same way about yours too. Thank you so much for watching, guys. That is the end of my video. It was a bit of a ranty one. I don't know if it made sense, but I tried to get my thoughts out in the best way that I could. Thank you so much for your ongoing support. Make sure to like, comment and follow, and I will see you again very soon. Bye!